Hi, this is Eve Hennessy, author of Detox with Ease. Welcome to my Detox More Wellness channel, where we talk about all things detox, healing, chemical sensitivity, brain retraining, mind-body connection, and more. Today we're doing lots of questions, and don't forget to smash the likes and hit the subscribe, the bell button, and all, so you can always get my updates. So I don't, I'm not one for like lots of facts and figures. So I'm not going to tell you how many pounds of parasites we have in our bodies. You can Google it. But we have this huge amount of parasites in our body. I think, in fact, I maybe have heard that our body is more, parasites and other kinds of helping organisms than actual human beings. Not sure about that. But anyway, there's a lot. There's several pounds at least. And, they have not been studied in depth. We know we have like bad bacteria. We got bad parasites. We have bad yeast and candidas. But we also have a lot of really good ones. I personally, from everything that I've studied, I think a lot of times, we don't know. Sometimes the bad ones can do good. It's just like real people, They're not all bad, it just depends on how you study it, how you look at it. But generally, most human beings on the planet today have way too many parasites, yeast, virus, candidas, and bacterias. And they really slow down the system. There are toxins. They can be toxins, so they can make you toxic. Your liver has to process them, your kidneys. Your body's always cleaning itself. Your body's an amazing cleaning machine. Even your heart, when it's pumping oxygen and changing, carbon dioxide into oxygen, is in a detox process. So we have these amazing human bodies. And if we can help them along to minimize the parasites and bacteria, we're going to feel a lot better. We're going to lose a lot of weight. We're going to heal our illnesses quicker, or maybe completely. And it's just a part of maintenance now. A lot of us, huge amounts of people have, we have our microbiome in our gut has been interfered with through antibiotics, GMO food, pesticides, and maybe just not eating food that's good for us, sugars, whatnot. So that's pretty much everyone. And if you have some kind of physical problem, it's almost certain that your gut microbiome is not at an optimal. So when your body's optimal, it just has just a good amount of parasites and organisms in there, and it fights off the ones that get out of control. What happens is when you have toxins in your body, you have an illness, you have stress, even other emotions, or you're not exercising, your body's just sluggish, so it's not moving around and cleaning as well as it could. What happens, especially if you eat sugar and lots of carbs, this is, they love that stuff. So what happens is that one or more of them get out of balance, like it's even true with a virus. I think everyone should study what a virus does and how it works, because we all have viruses in our body, and we're all exposed to a lot of viruses, but we're fine with the virus or the cold or the flu, whatever, until the virus reaches a certain critical mass and starts hurting our health. So if you can get a little bit of virus, which we already have, and just keep it under control, keep it at a minimum, then you're going to stay healthy. So there's a lot of ways we can do this. For one, when I was reading about our gut lining and your gut, and now people with lymphoma are now suing Roundup, because it causes this lymphatic cancer. So that means it's clogging up all of your lymphatic drainage so much that many people have gotten cancer and can now sue for it. My dad actually has that, but he's like, they wouldn't let him be in on the claims because he was older than the cutoff age. But so this GMO food has a lot of that Roundup, and just other kind of foods which have a lot of pesticides, are clogging your body and making it so that other viruses can take advantage. So I'm a firm believer in don't eat GMO food. I don't want to be the one, some people say it's so good or great, maybe it's not bad, but I'm not chancing it. I have sort of a delicate body. Some people are hardy, they can do whatever they want to their body and they're fine. But most people can't. So if you love your body, just don't eat GMO food, eat organic food, especially soy and corn, and don't eat wheat. I have a video about that. So I'm not going to say lots about parasites. I don't have a lot of different names. I actually had this one bacteria called H. pylori, which is a very super nasty bacteria, which 50% of the world population has. I had to actually tell my doctor, who I love my doctor, she's just a regular GP, but I told her, I was like, oh, can you test me for that? She's great. She should test me for anything. She's like, I don't think you have it, but I'll test you. So I had a lot of symptoms. I had a pain right here that would come and go, which I had been to the doctor 4 times before. And one said like IBS. They said all kinds of different stuff. And then I would go home and Google it. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really sound like that. I had like bitterness. At one point when it got really bad, I had heart like palpitations, but it wasn't the heart, it was reflux. So I did have one Egyptian friend that diagnosed me. Thank you, Mahmoud. So this is a super nasty bacteria, which I eventually had to take antibiotics for. And I know it's still there. If I ever get real stressed out and I'm using too much cell phone and too much electricity, which is all the time these days, I can kind of feel that pain there. But it had gotten really bad. Now it's very under control, It's a very super resistant bacteria. Really hard to get rid of, even with very hardcore antibiotics. I tried all the natural ways, that didn't work. So that's just one thing that can happen. If you have gastritis, if you have ulcerative colitis, if you have any intestinal illness, basically it means that your gut needs healing, and it probably means that you have overgrowth of yeast, bacteria, and different kind of bugs, along with leaky gut. So I spent a long time healing my gut and my intestines, and because I had gotten multiple chemical sensitivity and very severely, and I read that doing like coffee enemas is how to heal from it, one way to heal from it. So I started doing that. I made a video on it. I'm gonna like put it at the end, or hopefully in the links too. I made 2 enema videos, and I made a few other videos that talk about enemas, salt flush, and some other parasite cleanses that I was doing. So if you ever go to do enemas, and you do it more than once and you start doing it, you realize like you immediately feel better once you have done this. So there was something inside of your body that your body was not happy about. And if you do it a lot, like I did, you start to read about parasites and you start to look and see like, what's in that, what's in intestines. You see all kinds of weird things. You start getting curious. I talked to a client the other day, and she had been doing these enemas for a while, and she was feeling so much better. She got her energy back. She was feeling good, So these toxins and parasites, yeast, candida, they stay in our body. They make us tired. They give us brain fog, all kinds of problems, which I have to talk about every single video. She was feeling really good, and she was doing some apple cider vinegar enemas, which I talk about, which I do. I don't suggest overdoing it, and if you have some kind of very delicate situation, it might be too harsh, but you can just put a few drops, you can put a few tablespoons, or sometimes I'll really go and overdo it trying to clean out my intestines, and I don't think it's necessarily a good idea. So it's very easy to do. I just get the bag, fill it up with water, and kind of stick it in the back side and let the water come in, and then it's just like washing your pipes. And you can read up a lot about it. Sometimes they're like, sterilize this, sterilize that, and be very careful. And there's a lot of alarmist people, and there's people saying you can get addicted to it, and then your body's gonna not function and eliminate like it's supposed to. You see a lot of stuff online. You gotta just keep reading and finally make your own conclusions. Personally, I used to be like so careful and so worried, and then you're like, oh, we wash our hands after we go to the bathroom because it's dirty and has bacteria. So you don't have to sterilize everything. It's not, you're getting rid of dirty, waste, bacteria, nasty stuff. But you can if you want. I use filtered water, of course. The same water that I drink, completely filtered, because I'm just like that. I take a shower in filter water, but it's pretty easy to do. And the way that I used to do it, and I still do it, like if for some reason I don't feel good and I'm starting to not feel good for some reason, I will do that, and I'll always immediately feel good again. Like recently I went and ate a bunch of weed and like normal food, like pancakes at somebody's house, that like pizza from the gas station and all that. And then it did hurt my stomach. And so you just kind of also clean it out. If you have eaten a bunch of food that your body's not happy about, you can speed up the process of getting it out. So back to when I used to do this enemas regularly. So yeah, you're going to start to notice stuff. You'll start studying up, and I'm not going to go into it. It's too gross. Like in my second video, my dirty little secret, I talk about some gross stuff because there's some really weird, kind of nasty parasites in there, and some of them are not so small. They're not microorganisms. Like there's a lot of crazy stuff in there. If you want to, you could spend, every day do this for a month or 2 months, or if you can do it once or twice a week, or however much you can do it. As a detox process, you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to get rid of a lot of these organisms. The apple cider vinegar is really good for getting rid of the yeast. As far as I know, these are not medical. I'm not a doctor. I didn't take it in and get it analyzed. Is this a yeast? I did take some stuff into the infectious diseases once because I used to get these weird things. They were like these weird fur balls, which are in the other video, which a lot of people get. You can see them online. But some people say it's one thing, some people say it's another. So who even knows what the stuff is, At one point, if you do have leaky gut, you can even be shedding your gut lining. It's people online after so much studying and so much working with myself, I don't think people online know that much. I think some people talk very convincingly and they're like, it's this, but they don't really know. Like I've had thing, I didn't know, was it a worm? Was it this? I think there's definitely been some worms in there. Sorry about that. It's disgusting, but it's true. And then there has been sometimes if your stomach is really irritated, it can shed the lining, which can look wormy too. So I don't know. I don't like to overdo a lot of strong therapies. You can really overdo it, especially if you're toxic and you're detoxing and you have an illness like chemical sensitivity or cancer or something. You just want to clean all these toxins out of you. You can go a little crazy. My belief now is yes, clean them out and get rid of them. However, your body just needs to get clean enough, and then your body's going to kick in and do the rest of the work for you as it was designed to do. Yeast. So as you may already know, when we take antibiotics, a lot of times it kills all of the bacteria in our gut, including the good bacteria. So probiotics are an amazing way to keep your yeast, parasites, and viruses at bay. I like to just ferment cabbage. I don't like sauerkraut, it's too sour. But if you make this thing called cortado, I just like to put cabbage and some oregano and just ferment it a little bit. So I don't like it when it's real sour. You can kimchi, this, that, and the other. It's really an amazing thing for replenishing your gut bacteria. You can also buy probiotics, but try to buy the expensive ones that are in the refrigerated section, or I think Primal Defense is pretty good. It's in my store, Amazon store, which is in the links. But you want good probiotics, but you can't just eat a little yogurt. You have to really go out there and actively get your probiotics. Kefir is good. I do like yogurt. I don't know how much probiotics are in that, but you get it different ways. I think cabbage and the kimchi is amazing. If you could eat a little fermented food, a couple of times a day, it's going to help a lot. because the whole thing is to keep your good bacteria and your bad bacteria in balance. So when you do these antibiotics and possibly other different kind of medicines, it kills everything. So what happens is that the yeasts take control, you know. So yeast, also called candida, is growing like crazy, especially if you're feeding it any sugar and you're feeding it carbs. And so they're just eating it up and, you know, growing, and there can be quite a lot of this stuff in there, and it really undermines your health. I do believe that most people that have a chronic illness do have some kind of candida and yeast problem, and you can spend years and years trying to get rid of it. So, you know, you could still be healthy and have some candida, you know, like, yeah, you got to get rid of it, but at one point, you know, you're going to just feel better, and you just maybe keep a balance with it. Sugar, carbs, wheat. I don't eat any wheat at all. I noticed that my stomach does not like it. I think it's inflames the intestines. So anything that's hurting your intestines, like stress, is interfering with the good balance that you have in there. Other things, there's, besides enemas and just not eating sugars. I mean, so your parasites, they're saying like, we need sugar, we need sugar, we need sugar. And interestingly, after I ate all that junk food that day, the next day I did eat a whole pizza. I don't know why, because your body just starts craving it. They're like, we want more, you know? So once you deprive them a bit of their sugars and their carbs, they will calm down, and you will forget all about sugar, and you won't even like it that much. I don't even like it anymore. But I used to have, of course, be sugar addict, like 99% of people. So it's not that you like it. It's the yeast that are like, we want sugar, because they love it. So there's amazing herbs that will help you. Garlic is a very amazing anti-parasite, antiviral, antibacterial. Let's see, ginger, very good. Turmeric. Huge amounts of herbs and spices and essential oils are going to cut down on your bacteria. So you don't have to, bacteria, yeast, and fungus, which when I say one, I mean all of them, you know. So you could do a little essential oils. There are probably most herbs, most essential oils, and a lot of your good healthy vegetables are going to reduce that. You know, there's a lot of food prebiotic, you know, which is very good for your fibrous stuff you get. Different kind of mushrooms are amazing for you. So if you can just over time, you know, balance out your diet, you know, go less on the sugars, go more on the other kind of foods, throw in a bunch of different herbs, like cinnamon is good, black pepper. There's this stuff you can get, walnut husk, black walnut, and wormwood is actually an anti-parasite. Like if you've got serious parasites, like I went to Peru twice, and both times I got parasites. One way you know you have parasites, candida and bacteria, is if you go to eat, and then after you eat, you feel swollen up. Any kind of bloating is generally a sign that, you know, your intestines is not, there's something in there that's, you know, being inflamed and causing irritation, and a lot of the times it could be from the parasites and bacteria. When I had those bacteria from Peru, yeah, every time I ate, my stomach would feel so bloated. And I got rid of that by doing the wormwood, black walnut, and cloves. Cloves are also amazingly, they will kill all of that stuff. But you don't want to do that forever. You do that for 3 weeks. It's a little bit strong. Oregano oil is amazing. Chamomile, and any kind of herb that you're craving, or any kind of vegetable that you're craving, is probably something that your body needs. You can heal your gut. You know, aloe is amazing for your gut healing. Slippery elm. Yeah, stuff like that. So ton about enemas. I know people get very upset about it and they're very afraid to do it. I know people who never wanted to do it and they stayed sick, and some of them died. So when I was very sick and they said enema is gonna help you heal, I did it. It was very scary for me. The biggest tip is just use like lukewarm water. Don't use hot and don't use cold, because I use like kind of warm water the first time, and I remember feeling all hot inside and it really freaked me out. I was so scared, like, oh my God, what did I do? So I just find that it's just like slightly warmer, like what you would feed a baby, slightly warmer than your body temperature is good. You can buy this enema bag. Maybe I'll try to put one in my store after this. Don't go in and ask for it. I did that. They never have them, and it's very embarrassing. You can buy ones that are already made. I don't know anything about that because I never did it because I was so sensitive to chemicals. I don't like to buy stuff. I don't like a lot of things sitting in plastic. Of course, always clean it out. So here's what I was going to say, which I've said too, is you can just do it once, but I would just do it. Sometimes I would use like several gallons of water, and I would just keep doing the enema until I felt like all that stuff was gone. Like if you really do that for a while, especially if you're not feeling well, you go to do it, and you still don't feel well. Sometimes it'll like hurt. You can go through some stuff. It can be uncomfortable. And you get a lot of stuff out, and then after a while, this used to happen. There would be like, because you're cleaning higher up more and more and more, there would be like some nasty smelling stuff that smells. It means you're not healthy. Like it shouldn't really smell like much. But this thing, when you're doing the enema, is like it will get a bit of a smell, and you'll just know. You'll be like, oh my God, that was the thing I needed to get out of my body, and you do feel like immediately better. If you're a lady or a man, is trying to flatten the stomach, like you will lose a lot of weight by doing enema, because can be a lot of stuff up there that's kind of hanging around. So it will flatten on your stomach, get a lot of weight off of you, and a lot of times these things are like, there could be different stuff, that's been up there for a really long time. So if you do enemas for quite some time, like a couple of months, then you're going to really get rid of a lot of that stuff. Some people do colonics. I did a couple anything different than the normal enema for me, because that just was my experience. And $100 a pop, and I didn't like The Office anyway. Like some people really get a lot out of it, but I myself did not. So yeah, I would do a lot of stuff back then. I like Powdarco is an amazing parasite, virus, and bacteria killer. It's made of a bark from a tree, and it's a delicious tea. I think it's delicious. I think because my body really needs it. But I used to do enemas with lots of different kinds of stuff like that. Powdarco, sometimes with oil. I think the Kardashians had a episode where they did oil enemas. It's an Ayurveda thing from India. And that's good, except for the problem with that is that oil enema bag or rubber. So I don't do it that much because of that. Otherwise, I think I would. Some people just use a little bit of soapy water. I've never done that because it doesn't seem right to me. But if you use a little bit of vinegar, that will definitely help things to move out of there quick. Coffee enema is amazing detox. It stimulates the gallbladder to open and liver to produce, I don't know exactly where it's produced, the glutathione molecule, which is this very strong detox molecule. Enemas are an important part of Gerson therapy, which is very much involved with coffee enemas and healing cancer. I do not know that much about that. I just eat a lot of vegetables and do enemas, which, if you do that for a while, while you're healthy, it's going to make you even more healthy. I think that's all I wanted to say. Don't forget to smash the likes, hit the subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in below. Please comment, tell me where you're from, and if you have any questions. I will always address a question in another time. I had an incurable illness. I healed it. Personally, I think multiple chemical sensitivity. I know a lot less people who got healed from that than have recovered from cancer. So it's a tough one. And you're very toxic and terrible. So get rid of those parasites and eat all the good antibacterial foods. You can just Google it, you know, there are lots of them, and you just add them into your diet. You put a little drop here. You can also cleanse with psyllium husk and a bentonite clay. I'm not sure that I can recommend bentonite clay. I'm not sure it's easy to get the food grade. It used to be kind of more common. Let's see. Tons of stuff's going to kill your parasites. But make sure you don't want to kill them all. You just want to kill plenty, you know, so that they're not in there wreaking havoc on your body, making you tired, giving you brain fog, making you want to eat sugar, you know, and that includes alcohol and sugar are in a similar category. And they both turn into sugars. It's really bad for, you know, you got depression, you got anxiety, all these things has to do with having a well-working gut. So I want everybody's gut to work great. And from now until Thanksgiving, you can come to my 8-minute abs, 8-minute arms, and Wim Hof breathing every day at noontime Eastern time. And then starting Thanksgiving Day, November 25th, we're going to have an abs challenge, which I do every year. So it's free up until the 25th. And then the abs challenge is $99 from the 25th to January 5th. So we come into the new year stronger, fitter, and better looking than ever. All right, have an amazing day and go kill those parasites. And really, when your stomach hurts, it's not supposed to hurt. You're not supposed to feel bloated. You're not supposed to feel heavy. You're not supposed to feel sluggish. You're not supposed to feel depressed. You're not supposed to feel anxious. You're supposed to just feel good. And a lot of times it has to do with our gut. And a lot of times it has to do with just overgrowth of yeast parasites. So if you get too worried about killing viruses, I don't want to talk too much about it. I'm afraid of getting my channel taken down or something, but peppermint oil is amazing. A lot of these mints and oils and things that are a little spicy and stingy, peppers are going to kill a lot of viruses. They do not like that. There's one thing called menthol crystals, which you can get on Amazon, but be very careful with it. You can't buy them in a store because if a kid or somebody, or if you took a handful, I don't know what it would do to you. They're so strong. You just take a tiny little centimeter, half-inch piece, and it still kind of has a burn. It'll give you amazing breath as well. But use some of those. Chocolate is good. Hot chocolate is good without sugar. Has a lot of copper in it, I believe, which is very antibacterial. So keep those bacteria down. Stay healthy. I haven't got the flu or a cold for a while. Some years. I did get one 3 years ago. I got a little bit, but nothing serious. But I used to every once in a while get serious flus and stuff like that. So we're going to feel great. Wim Hof breathing is an amazing way to also heal your gut and your immune system. So your immune system is also in your gut. Everything's connected. So when you have something wrong with any part of your body, generally your gut it's right at the center of your body. So you got to look in there and maximize your health in that way. Hope I didn't have a blurry again. All right, don't forget to hit the likes. Have an amazing and beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. Y hablo español, y si tú tienes amigos que hablan español, que pueden venir conmigo y yo los puedo contestar en español. I answer questions in Spanish, so invite your Spanish-speaking friends too. French, but not quite so good French, but halfway decent. So invite your friends to ask me any questions they want. Take care. Ciao.